Me too. Me Bounds, the queen of me, the race hoaxer herself, the Jussie Smollett of the WNBA, who likes to yap but not play basketball very well, is gone out of Chicago. It has happened. Angel Reese gets a fresh start in Atlanta after two turbulent seasons in Chicago. And I would like to point out before we get into this any further is a huge part of this problem was Teresa Witherspoon, her coach, putting Angel Reese's fake W double nonsense above the team. She was all about elevating Angel Reese at the expense of the Chicago Sky, completely destroyed that franchise. It got Kennedy Carter, uh, you know, ridden out of the league. By the way, anyone wants to sign a very good point guard for a low salary WNBA, you might want to look into Kennedy Carter. But let's get into this a little further and dig in. Angel Reese gets a fresh start in Atlanta after two turbulent seasons in Chicago. For Angel Reese, the moment feels both inevitable and defining after two seasons filled with production, pressure, and growing frustration with the Chicago Sky. I'm sure it was mutual. Reese is headed to the Atlanta Dream in a move that could reshape both her career and the league's balance of power. Now, I will say this, it will give her an excellent opportunity. Here is the problem, the good and the bad for Angel Reese. It will give her an opportunity to grow and become what she should be, which is a rebounding role player. Angel Reese is not a star in the WNBA. She is never going to be a star in the WNBA. She is too limited in what she can do. I said this in a recent video. She looks no different in terms of her ability to go in for a layup, in terms of her mid-range shot, and so forth, than she looked a few seasons ago. She hasn't made any progress. Her fundamental flaws are the same flaws. She's still chucking the ball up from her hip on layups and all of this other nonsense. She has not improved in any way. She is what keeps her in this league, besides agenda, besides narrative, is the fact that she is a big body and she is willing to go after every single rebound. And as I've always said, I'm going to be critical of all her stuff. She can't shoot layups. Her fundamentals are bad. She doesn't move well. But I give her a lot of credit for being willing night in and night out to go out and be the one that goes after every single rebound. That is what keeps her in the league. So anyway, let's dig into this a little more. According to a report from Taylor Rook, Chicago and Atlanta have agreed to a trade, sending Reese to the Dream. Full details of the deal are being worked out, but the headline is clear. One of the WNBA's most polarizing and productive young stars is getting a reset, and she likely needed one. We will get to the post in a moment, but let's dig into this a little bit more. 2 years in Chicago that never quite clicked 100%. I think she was a cancer in that locker room. And again, to be fair to Angel Reese, while a lot of it is her, she is a hardcore narcissist. Me bound, me too. Y'all be, when I look back in 20 years, y'all are watching because of me too. A lot of that was on the coach. Teresa Witherspoon did her no favors at all in how she handled Angel Reese and her off court stardom, because those people don't watch her play basketball. Reese's time in Chicago was never about a lack of production. If anything, she delivered at a historical level from the moment she entered the league. As a rookie, she averaged 13.6 points and a record setting 13.1 rebounds per game, immediately establishing herself as one of the most dominant rebounders the WNBA has ever seen. She followed that up with another elite season, beg to differ, leading the league in rebounding again while expanding her playmaking and overall impact. Yeah, so the rebounding again, I'm going to give her the rebound. The rest of that is gibberish, but the results around her never matched the individual success. The Sky struggled to find consistency, cycling through lineup issues, injuries, and identity questions, like identifying as a team whose sole purpose in existing was to make sure Angel Reese got a double double, to the point where lost games. Sorry if you heard that. I had something else, just one of those autoplay things just started yapping. Um, but where was I? Oh, yes, the W, right? We talked about it. We showed it in multiple games where the focus at the end of the game was getting Angel Reese a double double. And I promise you, that and that alone is no way to have a cohesive team that is playing together to win games. A back injury limited her later in the year, and frustration boiled over publicly as she questioned the direction of the team. That's wild, wild for a so ball player who exists in the league because she can rebound in her second year to publicly question the entire organization. This is bizarre, a growing sense that Chicago was not built to maximize her skill set. She's a very limited big who can rebound. That is it. In no way, shape, or form should Chicago be building a team around her skill set. That is one of the dumbest sentences I have ever read. You know whose skill set you build around? Caitlin Clark's. The Fever are refusing to do that, though. Stephanie White doesn't want to do that, though. This is wild that this is the reality of the WNBA. All drama, no basketball. Talk about building around a skill set of one of the most limited players to ever join the league, but you don't want to build around the skill set of a Caitlin Clark. How is this even possible? How are we here? I don't get it. I'm starting to lose my mind. For a player whose games thrive on energy, pace, and structure, the fit simply never stabilized. All right, now let's talk about Atlanta. Why Atlanta could unlock Angel Reese. Atlanta presents something Chicago never fully provided: stability. Well, we don't know that. A clear competitive window. But again, the lack of stability, I would blame on the coach for that as well. The Dream have quietly been building a roster that emphasizes athleticism, versatility, and defensive intensity. Reese fits that blueprint perfectly. I do think if she accepts a more limited role as a role player, even a role player that gets a lot of minutes, even a role player that might start. Dennis Rodman started, but I'd consider him a role player. And the reason I say that is when you have no impact at all on the offensive end, you're not even an option for your team. You're more of a role player. See, I don't mean role player in a negative. That is not a criticism. Stars need very good role players who are very good at certain things around them in order to win championships. That's the way it is. So a career reset with real stakes. Yeah, if Angel Reese can't thrive in Atlanta, then it becomes a serious Angel Reese problem. And I think people stop covering for her. And then you wonder if other teams are going to take that risk. She entered the league with massive expectations after, well, she didn't lead LSU, but she was part of an LSU national title team, becoming one of the sport's most recognizable faces. But see, the problem there is that recognition wasn't because of her basketball. Caitlin Clark's recognition because of her basketball. If the fit works, if Angel Reese dials back the ego and accepts a role, and no, it's not. She's not going to transition from star talent to franchise cornerstone. She can't be a franchise cornerstone. She doesn't have the talent. This is what I'm saying. This right here, this article is a big part of the problem. This delusion that Angel Reese is a top tier basketball talent. She simply isn't. L. Duncan, when it came in quick, look at that. Atlanta about to be Atlanta about to be. By the way, Elle Duncan, she got her start, her debut at Netflix with baseball, and kept calling home plate home base. Didn't sit well with a lot of baseball fans. How you could have someone that incompetent and that unprepared to be at that level, ridiculous. But that's a whole nother uh, issue we won't get into now. That seals the deal. I am no longer a WNBA fan. This guy had no right trading their best player to the Dream, something they will be regretting for a long time. I will never watch a WNBA game again, even if Caitlin Clark is playing. Now, here's the crazy thing about the WNBA. That is so over the top that the sarcastic person in me, I'm the most sarcastic person in the world. And it hurts now because it seems to be a dead art. People are too easily offended. But I read that and I'm thinking that has to be that is dripping with sarcasm. But then I think it's the WNBA, right? Like if that was basketball, right? If I don't know LeBron or was traded, or somebody like that, or Luca was traded, I think, yeah, okay, it's sarcasm. I wouldn't even think about it. But now with the WNBA, I wonder. There we go. Bayou Barbie. You all saw my Barbie video. Atlanta Barbie coming to your TV screen, and on and on and on. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. I just wanted to get this out quick because this is big breaking news. Like I said, it could be a crazy week coming up. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, do the hype thing on mobile. That works. I promise. Someone sent me a screenshot of getting my video on their feed with the hype thing on it. And yeah, comment below. Let me know your thoughts on Angel Reese being traded, how y'all think it's going to work out. I will talk to you later.